What's going on, everyone? It's Luke here again. I'm bringing you another Mr. FBA UK video. Today we're going to go deep dive into FBA Multi Tool. Now, if you have or have not known, the very first video I did on my channel, literally maybe 9 months ago, I don't know how long ago now it was, ages ago, it was all to do with FBA Multi Tool. That was my first product review or Chrome extension review, or however you want to sort of go about it. I'm now basically going to go back over it and see what's changed, what's new, because this sort of software, things are changing every single week, every month. So whatever that old review it probably says is probably not really relevant as much as a new one would be. And I'll do that with all of my other reviews for my sort of software and tools that are to do with Amazon. I'll periodically go back over the same products and services, not products, the services, re-review them, see what's new, and bring you my, fresh feedback, because you will find maybe not like month to month, but definitely 6 months to a year, year to year, things change, new things come out, new things have to be tweaks because things with Amazon change, which leads to sometimes even more innovation, for example, and yeah, this space is always sort of changing with software and services. If you go back a couple of years ago, all there really was a keeper chart, maybe a repricer, and FBA Wizard or tactical arbitrage. Yes, and what a lot of people then did is they had virtual assistants that they paid for full-time work to source them products. Where now, for me, I think you can definitely utilize a VA far more efficiently and effectively, and get your product leads from other ways and other methods than to do it that way. So things are changing all the time. And I had an interesting message or a comment that I saw the other day. It was saying that, online arbitrage is not here for that long. And, in theory, what is long? No, probably not. If you're talking about like 10 to 20 years, if you're thinking, if you're in your 20s or 30s, will it be a life business? Probably not. That's what I'd see that as. But definitely shorter term, within 3 to 5 years, I can't really see much changing. But I promise you never know. Because I saw someone say, well, it's not going to, nothing's going to happen in a couple of years. But, 2 or 3 years ago when I got started, so this is 2016, end of 2016 in December. Imagine, a lot of people starting off now would be like, oh my God, I wish I got in then. Yeah. When I was starting off then, everyone was saying, oh no, it's not going to be around in a couple of years. Well, we're already in a couple of years. Well, we're more than a couple of years. We're like 2.5 years coming up now from when people were saying that. And these people never even got in, or they got in, played around with it for a bit, thought, you know what, no, I don't really see it, and then sort of just left it. And now they're probably thinking, and it's not about that. It's about just get it. Just the more time you're wasting around, just get it. Anyway, that's that's another thing. So let's get on to this review. So I've been playing around with it for about a week just to see what is different from before, because I used to use it right back in the day when it first, basically when I did the review. I think that was the first Chrome extension I started using. And I've used Buybot Pro as well, so I basically use both of them, to be fair. And they both have their own different tweaks and improve. They both, for me, have different things. And so I'm going to go over exactly what this has, what I've been playing around with, what I like about it actually, some cool things I've noticed that I hadn't even noticed right away. Because a lot of these things you've got to play around with for a while. You can't just use it for a couple of hours or an hour and go, yep, I know how, I know the full functionality, but it's not really like that. There's little things that you just figure out as and when you sort of play with it. So let's get started. So if you don't know what it is, I'm sure a lot of you do, but let's just go over it. You can see from the front screen what it does. It's basically a Chrome extension. I'm not going to play the video, but you can see it's a bar on the far right here. It's got some more added integration here. And it just gives you a big bunch of information, basically, to analyze your deal, to then make as perfect a decision as you can when you want to buy a product. So how much profit is, how many should I buy, how should I buy for the future, what's its seasonality like, what's the 90 days like, this is tons. Yeah. And before all this, everyone used to use Keeper, and as you may have recently have known, Keeper is now not free, and it charges $15 or £15 a month, which is still relatively cheap. And anyone that's been doing online arbitrage for a while will probably just sign up and forget forget it's even coming out of their bank, as a sort of small added extra. But then that was what everyone used to use. Then these Chrome extensions came out to definitely enhance and improve decision making, definitely with beginners. So the more experienced sellers basically had to work without these Chrome extensions. So they obviously have created their own techniques and tools and ways to do things. So, but with the newer people who have always and never known any different, they are, it's like if you don't know any different, it's very hard to see without it. But when you've worked without something, you always naturally, as a human being, will just find ways to do things. So if you really want, you can go ahead and sign up for a 100% free trial. There's no credit card needed for the sign up as well. I'm not sure exactly how long the duration is, but what I've actually got for you guys is I've got two. I want to make sure I say this correctly because I've got two tickets, I guess you could call them, for 2 people to have 1 month free trial of the software. Does that, yeah? I don't want to say 2 months free trial because it's 1 month free trial for 2 people. There we go. So actually what I'm going to do is if you basically just like and comment on this YouTube, so you have to actually like and comment on the bottom of this YouTube in the description below. You'll see, I'll write down exactly how to do it in case you sort of forget, but basically just comment. Just, I don't know, whatever you want to comment, yeah? Just something random if you really want. Maybe you can just type in bananas or apple juice, I don't know, whatever you feel like doing. Or ask me a question if you really have a question for me. And then anyone that's in there, I'll leave the video to obviously, normally I'll leave it about a week because that is what, anyone that's going to watch it would normally watch it within 1 week. Some people might leave them for a couple of days and just watch a couple at once, that sort of thing. So I'll leave it till next weekend. I am actually away in, where am I? I'll say Belarus, but that's not right. Bratislava. So I'm going away to Bratislava next weekend just for a long weekend with a friend. It's like a last minute spare at the moment. I mean, a beer's like £1.20 in this place we found. I mean, when you got a beer 20 for a pint, I'm going to say that you can't really go wrong. But that's just me and my friend. If I was not going with the friends, maybe I wouldn't look that much into specifics of how much a pint is. But yeah, you get what I mean. And we've got the cool castle to visit, and I've been watching YouTube and see all that stuff. And it actually looks like a nice place, to be fair. But never a place I would necessarily look to go. So yeah, I'll let you know how that goes, but I'm sure it's going to be really fun. So we just go through some of the integration that it has on this Chrome extension. So from this screen here, you can see you've got the far right chart, which is most of the solid, concrete facts and numbers and all that. But you can also see there's an integration up here. Now, which part of this is part of the Chrome extension? It's this very top bluish rectangle and this small keeper chart. Now, you might be thinking, keeper's not free. Keeper's not free anymore. So how have they got this chart? Well, they actually need to pay to access the data that keeper has, which then I think feeds into this main Chrome extension here. That some of the stuff that comes up is actually pulled from the raw data of the keeper chart. So they actually have like an access to an extent. They can't actually just give you the full access. But I have seen an email, or like it's a newsletter, I'm guessing it is, from the team here saying that they are looking to add free full integration of keeper chart. Now, I don't really know if that's going to be as how we know it or how we've been using it for the past however many years or whatever, or if it's going to be a different version of it, because this current version here, you can't actually do much more than see what this information is. So you can see Amazon has sold it. You can see that Amazon have basically just been yo-yoing the price here and here, like it's gone up and down. And you can see the rank. Yes, you can see that when it was double the price, it was selling at a 4,000 rank at 22 quid. And then as soon as they crashed the price to half price, it was like a bestseller. And then it just yo-yoed again, even more of a bestseller then. And you can read enough, but you can't read like how many. You can't really look at seasonality of sellers. Sorry. So I like to look at how many people have been selling it at its in the last year at its top. Yeah. So if a deal, if it's tripled number of sellers and the price has gone down by half, I want to know that that's a possibility. That sort of detail to when I'm making my purchasing decisions. Yeah. But you can't see it on this. you can see enough. You can see like, you know, Amazon, the ranking depending on the price, but you can't see every single little nook and cranny, as I like to sort of I'll refer it to as. But I did see that they were trying to give us or some more free. I don't know if it's going to be free as it was before, or some sort of limited, but a bit more than this. You have to just see what happens in that aspect, and I'll obviously let everyone know once I know a bit more. But it was just a quick email that I saw pop in my email box today, and because I knew I was doing this video, I had a quick read just so I could basically add it into the video for you guys. So as we go down, you can see here, this is basically a PL detector that will give you an indication if it's safe to sell the product, because you will, as an experienced seller, whatever I am, I guess I am experienced, I pretty much will know if I should buy the product, not because of the product itself or the price and that, but compared, like I look at key indicators to see if it's safe to sell. What I mean safe is that if you sell the wrong products, you can get policy warnings, because the original owner, manufacturer, wants to be that exclusive seller. And if you start selling it, they're like, what? Why are they taking my sales? It's my product. If I create a product, but you may not be able to tell because these products may not be obvious. It might not be an obvious PL, because if you think about it, every product that's ever existed is a private label, but it's not in the private label in terms of what we perceive it to be on Amazon. Yeah. It's a private label in terms of it's a high street retailer. Well, it might be in Boots, for example, yeah? Some of these products might be in Boots. So they're not like I've gone to China and got a private label, but they're private label in their own way. And that seller may want, you know, depending on the age of the business, which you will not necessarily know, they may want to have more control over who's selling it. And they may generally think that you are just selling knockoffs. So, you know, I don't know what these people are thinking. Or they generally just want control over their brand and to make more sales. So this gives you an indicator, and it can be red for one, amber, and then obviously green. And if it has amber, the way that it sort of works, it takes how many people are selling the product and stuff like that. So if there's only one person selling the product, it'll probably be red, meaning why is there only one person selling this product? Because if you know, if there's a good deal out there for this product, then you're telling me only one person in the whole of like the United Kingdom, what's that, 74 million people? And then that's take the percentage of that doing arbitrage. It's the same as one person that's found that deal, and it's on Boots or something, or it's on like Superdrug, and you're thinking it's not even a difficult website. So why is there's obviously some sort of there's a little bit of a discrepancy in like the check box that you would sort of go through, because it's too good to be true in that instance, yeah. But you get used to these brands and what sort of things to look for. But this is if you're a beginner, a little indicator for you. So if it's green, it's probably pretty safe. I always double check anyway, just roughly. And this gives you a nice sales estimate. Now I haven't actually ever checked, but I believe this is just against this product in its entirety for the month. So it's not each seller will get between this and like 267 and 310. It's the whole product. So if you want, I would always roughly check Keeper, which you can sort of check now with this. You can still use this. I normally check the green rankings. It's very difficult when it's down this low because it looks like there's no movement. It's just basically a straight line. But there could be 50 to 100 sales a day on that product. But because it's so low in ranking, it's harder to read the estimated sales. Just like if a product's 100,000 and it makes a sale, it's very obvious, but it is just one spike and then it goes normally back up again, and you can clearly see that. But with this, it's sort of open to interpretation. So that's why there is a range on it, and I'll always just check that to make sure I believe that's correct, and I'll be like, yes. So that's actually got 900. What's that got? 950 to 1.1k, which, because it's done over 3 months, that, again, it's hard to say because a lot of those sales, of this bunch of sales, would have happened at that lower line there. So already I would look at this and be like, okay, that's overestimated for the 3-month period, because actually only when Amazon crashed the price to half of its current price, or whatever you want to call it, because I don't know what price you would be using, you know, then yeah, so that it's actually periodically like that. It's not stable sales. So there's little things like that that you can basically look at and help this use. But even if it's 100, let's just say 100 worst case, this is like way overestimated. Let's say it's 100. Awesome, 100. How many sellers are there? There's 10. Okay, I can get 10 sales because you've got to divide the 100 sales by the 10 sellers. And you can even look into it more than that. It'd be like, okay, well, usually there's like one person, like a merchant fulfilled, selling this product for 6 times inflated price, hoping that one day someone will, basically everyone else will sell out and they'll be the only seller, and someone will buy it for 6 times what it's worth. And I reckon their techniques are, they never actually, these are merchant fulfilled, so they don't actually send it to FBA. So they haven't got any of these products. They've basically just listed on every single possible product at like 4 or 5 times inflated, even 10 times inflated. And if someone does buy it, maybe they've got 20,000 items listed. That one person that sells, that one item that does sell because everyone else has sold out, they just go and find it from eBay or I don't know, somewhere. They just go and find it from somewhere else. But because you're buying it for 6 or 7 or 8 times more, they can pay double what it's actually worth. And you know, say that's all sold out everywhere, no one can buy it. They just go somewhere and find it and pay 3 times what it's worth, and then you're paying these 6 to 9 times, and then they will send it to you. But they haven't actually got any of the stock, so they're speculating in a way. Anyway, we move on. And a nice little integration here is it gives you you can glimpse these prices to see what your ROI would be. So it's basically saying that if you are, whatever this product, obviously this isn't a product as such, you can't see the listing, but let's say you've obviously looked at, say, Argos or Superdrug or whatever you're doing, you know, a wholesaler, and you're like, yeah, okay, let's look at this. You know that you got it for $9.99, so you know you're actually buying it for, you're basically getting your margin, ROI, your ROI, is going to be about 35%, yeah? But you don't, so you haven't actually got to go down into your buy price, type in your buy price, calculate the profits, go down to here and check. You can basically offhand or cut down on that time. It's all to do with time. So the faster you can do everything, the faster everything, you know, the faster you got more time to source products, the faster you got more time to implement better systems. You got more time to do third-party projects. Maybe you got other projects that you want to do. I don't know, all that sort of thing. So it's a nice little, you know, and if you know that you don't want anything less than 30%, well, just glimpse of 30. Go right. Am I buying it for less than that? Yes. So if you are right now, I'm probably going to buy this product. So let's just double check all the specifics, all the data. So you know, as you may have been already aware, a lot of these services have eligible sell. So it basically tells you straight away, can you sell it? You don't have to go into your app or add a product to a shipment to see if you can sell it. Is it hazmat? Because you can't sell, if it says hazmat or whatever it says as the opposite of this, you basically can't send it into FBA because it's currently being inspected to see if it is a hazmat product, because Amazon will periodically check their stock, their items, because this, you know, anyone creates listings. So really, even though the picture would be something like a toy, Amazon just see that product as the ASIN, yeah? They don't actually know what it is. So the system, I guess, picks ASINs, puts it into hazmat, and then it will people will then have to inspect it to check it isn't dangerous. It's not, you know, aerosols, explosives, I don't know, like, you know, that sort of thing. And then after a while, usually it just pops back in, back to sale again. So you'll find out, you know, I've had items go in and out of hazmat many a time, and you just got to leave it. You can submit forms, but I actually got to the point where I just leave them and let the process take the course. And normally within, worst case, it has been a month, but usually within about a week, 2 weeks, it's back on the listing again. So yeah, moving to the rest. So you can see here, it's got the obvious stuff: category, sales rank. Really nice bit about the ASIN is that you can just copy that ASIN straight off the bat, and then I normally paste that into my purchase log, because what you used to have to do is scroll right down to the bottom of the product page, find the ASIN. It's just a bit annoying because it was so much stuff there. It was very difficult to find sometimes, and it's really nice that it's just right there. You can just highlight it, copy it, paste it into the thing really quickly. Now, a really cool integration here. It's got a virtual assistant check-in. So I'll actually will see if I can find that on here, because there's actually, so I haven't actually used it, so obviously I can't, because I still need to get my virtual assistant, or probably get 2 virtual assistants. I just have not got around to it yet. Right now I'm focusing on other things. It's Q1. It's always a slow month. I'm just, you know, it's the end of the month, obviously the end of this month. I've got my VAT to pay in next month, and then that's when I'll look, because I know that the year is then pushing on nicely. So let's see. Can we click these bits? All right, I'm 90% sure it is going to be down. Okay, I can't find it. It was there. I'm 90% sure it was there. There we go. Watch preview here. So here we are. So I'm not going to play the whole thing.
To the FBA Multi Tool. In this video, I just want to cover the VA check-in feature.
Just watch it for a.
I know some of you have been emailing me and asked password is to log into the dashboard on the website.
I'm just going to show you what it is. So if you really want to use,
if you forgot your password or you've lost your password, you can just go to the Forgot Password tab at the bottom. And listing, this is where the VA check-in button is on the app. What your VA will need to do is click this. They'll enter the email. They'll have to keep using the email they use, otherwise it will create a new user. So it's based off of the email that they enter. So
I'm just going to keep the volume off, otherwise it would just all conflict, and it's just annoying. I'm not going to play the whole thing. You can get the gist of it. They clock in. The timer's here. So now, once they're logged in, it's basically recording this screen. I've watched this already, so I'll actually explain as I speed up. So you can see it's recording their activity on their monitor. Yeah. And it also will. You can basically go in and view their work. And you can see here it's recorded what they've been doing. They're different sessions, I guess you could call it, and you can basically see if they're working, doing what you want them to do, or not. Maybe maybe they're going on Facebook. So he does go over an example. He's like, well, I can see they've actually jumped onto Facebook, or they've done this, or they've maybe not worked for the full time. They've just sat on a page, and maybe gone away from their desk for half an hour. I don't know, So you get the gist of that anyway. And it's really nice to see that, because I've not seen it before, to be fair, on anything. I think you can get virtual assistant software, some sort of software, but where this is already integrated into it, it's actually very nice. Again, I've not used it, but you can see how it works. And you can always go through to the links and see. So we're going to go jump back to this so I can go through the rest of the stuff. So you can see, if you click the sales data, now, I'll actually show you that in a second, because obviously I can't click this. But what you would do is obviously type in your. We're going to go straight to this, so I can actually show you. Otherwise, it's just going to end up doing it twice. I always go on Disney toys for some reason. It's just interesting to jump on. So the first thing you'll see now is this. Now, this is a free integration that I've gone over in my free. Anyway, getting started for beginners guide. You'll see this. I do have Keeper now. I'll have to update that now, so it's not free. But you can see here, okay, so let's just try this. So you can see now Keeper is, even though it's not the full integration, you can still see Keeper for free, yeah? You click that, but what's a cool part is, say that I don't know how you're sourcing your products. You can choose different currencies if you're buying from a Euro website, I guess. But you could do a quick hand calculate here, £5, and just see, you don't even have to get as far as getting to the product page, yeah? You could just, I don't know, you could just type in Disney toys. You could do a quick hand like this. You can go Disney toys. You can go to Disney store. Jump onto the Disney store. I don't know, jump onto the cushions. Okay, so this is say that you're just doing this. Disney. Right. I literally just want to check and make sure I spell the word right. I know it might sound like I can't spell, but I just want to make sure I don't actually spend half the time figuring out. Yeah, kids. So I'll put Disney, because a good thing is it's all keywords as well, so I'm trying to link as many keywords. So that's really not being very helpful at all, is it? Disney cushions. Disney Questions. Character faces. Oh god. Okay, if this doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you get, okay, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work. This is what you would do. So you would go here, you'd be like, right, okay, so these are all £12. £12. Have a quick glimpse. I know there's not many here. So you could be like, okay, well, there's Mickey, there's, you know, basically just look to who there is, yeah? You get used to the same characters all the time. And then you could do a quick glance all the way through here. It's not actually giving me that little integration. Maybe I'll have to F5. Oh no. I'm just sorry, when you have this stupid thing on a corner, it's really okay, well you can see it anyway. This screen thing is really annoying because when you're doing a record on the system, when you're doing a recording, it basically blocks, it has like a timer to show you what I'm actually doing and it blocks it off. But you can see, you could basically go through this and be like, okay, well, these are all 12 quid. So you scroll through the big list and you actually try to find a picture which is really similar. And you can obviously go next, 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 and try to find these products really fast. And once you've found one, let's say that this item here was that product, yeah? You can go, well, I know it was 12 quid. And you can get then a quick hand, you know, this might be people that are doing copy and paste or trying to find free methods to source software, because a lot of people are doing this. They're literally just doing very basic sort of copy and pastes. There we go, I can bring it back up. Copy and pastes, or like freeways, and that's a really, really quick hand freeway. Maybe you then go on Argos and you go to, you know, the toy sale and you do it that way, and you just type in, you know, Playmobil toys, and you go to the Playmobil section. And you just repeat like that, and that way you don't have to go onto all these listings and then and spend just a lot of time, a lot of legwork really. So okay, so let's just jump on a random listing. Okay, so now you can actually see the live data for FBA Multi Tool on this page. Okay, so everything I was basically going over, yeah. So you can see it's now looking pretty good. You can see the keeper chart here. You can see if you click it, that's what happens. You can't actually go into the detail of it. So that is its limiting factor with the keeper. But I haven't yet seen any software that actually basically gives you a free keeper. Not how it was down here. So obviously this is what we used to have. But all of this data now is just it's not going to give you, there's nothing. And this box down at the bottom, I used to love this box at the bottom. But you used to use these two together. You could literally just like predict every single potential outcome for everything. But now there's nothing here. It's literally just blank. And it doesn't have that box on here, which is, well, it's just how it is. If you don't really want it, click that and it toggles off, yeah? So that's the VA check, and obviously I'm not going to click it. But a nice another integration, you click the sales data, okay? So it's giving you a nice average buy box price, which is quite handy just to check that, you know, it's very stable. It looks very stable there. Yeah, it's a bit high now, but it's not like how the other graph was here, where you can see there's very, very, very drastic up and downs in price. And then it's giving you a nice quantity and stock checker, which is nice because it makes you, if there's someone here, you know, at the very front, really cheap, he's got 900 in stock, Amazon might have 999 all the time, then it's one of those products you think, maybe I won't buy that many, or I won't buy it at all because, you know, for whatever reason. But where these people have relatively low numbers of stock, it looks pretty healthy in terms of turnaround. So this person will probably sell out. You know, he may have more stock to send in, but usually everyone will pretty much send their stock in, or they save some for Christmas. So that's the sort of way that it works. I feel, maybe I'm wrong. So it's very nice. I'll be like, okay, well, I can comfortably buy 5 to 10, depending on my cash flow and what I want. The sales, you know, it says 5, but yeah, I look maybe even a bit more than 5. It looks maybe like 10 to 12, I would say, to be fair. Only the 6 sellers, as I would say. Saying 5, it's probably, you know, that's the thing. You can't take this exactly, but a lot of it is giving you more the rough piece of information. If it said, you know, 400, then it's going to be wrong. It's closer to 5 than it is, say, 20 or 15. But I reckon, it's very difficult to see because this isn't a big keeper chart as well, which is another little issue with not having the full-sized version. But I would say comfortably I could sell 5 a month on that, even though it's saying 5. So I'd buy 5. I mean, those numbers, there's not a massive difference between 5 and 10. It's when you start, getting to the 50s, 100s, that's where the numbers are more important, because it's not necessarily meant to give you the exact number. It's just meant to give you the rough area. So is it a low selling-ish item between maybe 1 to 10? Is it a little bit more of a medium term product, which is say 1 to 30? Is it a slightly more higher medium, what I would say is maybe up to 50 units? Or is it 100 plus units? Obviously, then most products will be up to 150 to 200. The ones that are 1,000 and stuff are normally private label or Amazon and stuff. Very, very, you may find items that are like that, but most items would be seen 1 in 100, I'd say 1 to 150. Top, you can see here. So you would type in your value, that's to say it was 6, type calculate profits, of course, gives you the breakdown. And you can look at the breakdown FBA fees here. That's normally the stuff you would see on the app. This has got a VAT incorporated in this for me, but it depends on how you are as a business or sole trader. And you can go and just click the settings and set it all up. So if you've got fixed prep, you can add it in. If you I don't actually put a transit cost against each unit in each box. I just do it as I forgot the way you describe it now. Basically, I just reduce it at the end or take it off the overall month sales, because I just do it as an average. So don't actually worry about that. You can go ahead in Europe. You can type in, there we go, 20% VAT registered. And this is a cool little addition. If you're buying from a wholesaler and you don't have the VAT added on, so the product price that you're buying for that you may enter over here doesn't actually have any VAT in at the time, then you can click this and it will actually add the VAT on top. So let's just double check that is correct, and US and stuff like that, but I don't touch those bits. So let's just go here and click here. As far as I'm aware, that is what that does. I can't actually see where it will show you, but I don't use it and I wouldn't know myself. Let's just double check this. 24, £1.70, £1.70. Yeah, I can't see. There's no actual breakdown to say the VAT on that £6, but you can see by the difference. It's basically I get less profit because it's adding on me paying the VAT, because this is a wholesale price. But I don't really do wholesale. It's something I'm going to get into, but I would not use this personally. But it's interesting because there are, a lot of prices at wholesale are given as an without VAT price. That's pretty much the reason why that's there. And just to check, there is nothing else. Nope. So you can see here, it's really nice here. Break-even price, that's quite nice as well, because you will find that over, maybe 5% of your stock, 10% if you're really learning the ropes still, you will possibly have to sell at break-even price. So a little understanding behind it is I normally just leave my stuff up to 3 months without even really looking at it. So I would just let stuff happen. And then there's normally like a little tab on the main screen, so the central saying slow moving stock. I'll have a quick look and see what it is, and it will say, not 60 plus days or 90 plus days. And normally these days I haven't got any of those products. I think I've got one, which I don't not worry. I think it's like a little tiny travel size, like not concealer, I don't know, some face wash thing. I know, and there's only like 3 units, so I'm really not too worried on something like that. But I used to have quite a lot, I'd say. I don't know why I don't now. I guess it's just I've learned to control it better. But you will find out that definitely over Christmas as well, because you're buying a lot more varied stock and a lot more quantities. You might have to break even on some, and that will basically show you what the break even price is. So you can basically see here that if the product sells at 10.22, you will get your money back. Now, the good reason for that is you might be saying, well, why would you want your money back? Well, okay, let's say you've got potentially £1,000 worth of stock that, you've got 20 grand in stock. £1,000 of that you want to potentially, well, if you broke even, you would get £1,000 back, and obviously you would have spent £1,000 on that stock, so you'd be no different, no better off, break even. Now you might say, well, why not leave it in for Christmas or for next month, or I don't know, for a time when it will sell? Well, that's all, well and good if you've got lots and lots of money, but the problem with this business is that you spend so much money on stock, thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. You run out of money so fast. Unless you've got the ridiculous bankroll, I don't know, unless you've done it for many, many years and you built up a lot, or you've got good investments or whatever, you always run out of money. I can spend thousands of pounds a day, yes, it's okay for a while, but if you get too many £1,000 purchase days in a row, and then you've got the weekend where money doesn't. So Amazon, when they pay you, obviously your weekend doesn't count, so you don't get paid over those days. You have a little bit of a bit of a delay in payments, if you get what I'm trying to get at. So there will be times when you will spend a lot of money, and you get 10 grand in 7 days, and you can't really do that often without running out of money or having to, I don't know, figure out ways to get around it. So that £1,000 is actually really, really, well, you want it, if you can, back as soon as you can. And what then you can do with that is that you can then buy stock that will sell next month. And then you actually make, even if you make £100 on that £1,000, you've now made £100 more than you would have if you left the stock in there. Yeah? You get what I'm trying to say? Because it's better to have £1 next month on £1,000 than it is to wait 3 months and get £2, when if you can get £1 every month, you've made £3 in 3 months on £1,000. Or, you leave it in there for 3 months and you only make £2. But obviously your ROI is double, but it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant if it's double, because you've left it in there and it's doing nothing. So there are all these things to sort of take into consideration. And I will, after 3 months, I'll look at what the product is, have a quick look at the keeper chart. See, that's where a keeper was good, because it's what you would do is you would analyze where you are now on this graph. So you're at 20 sellers. When was the last time it sold at the price I want to sell it for? You would then go on to the year. Go along here, look for the buy box at whatever price I wish I can sell it for. So let's say I want to sell it at $19.99. Buy $19.99. If it even sold at that price. But I mean, if I'm buying it to sell at that price, it must have sold at some point at that price. Otherwise, why would I buy it? You can then go down here and you can see how many sellers it basically was that you needed. Yeah. So that's where it's really nice. Yeah, you can work it out manually, but it's all to do with time. This whole Chrome extension and keeping that is just to remove all of that crap, I guess it's is where you're just doing, not really doing anything. You're just trying to figure out an answer, and the faster you can get that answer, the more you can just crack on and all that sort of thing. So a really cool thing here that I still need to go over is the bottom part here. It's basically giving you the prices in the other European countries. So you can see here it's at 1425, rank 60. So you can see that, that's probably not going to ever sell, because obviously these markets are smaller. Germany is actually bigger than the UK, which I found out. France is decent. So the top three are your best markets. Germany's more, is it France? Germany's more expensive, I believe, in fees, and basically they're all slightly different, which is interesting fees wise. So it's always good to keep an eye on that. But you can get a gist if it's worth, if you're going to be able to sell in these countries. Now, obviously the fees are higher, so where it's very similar in cost here, that doesn't necessarily mean, oh look, I can sell in all these countries. If it even sold in that one, I don't know if that ranks really quite bad for toys in that country, in Italy. But the others are ranking okay. So that means I can actually sell over 4 marketplaces. Well, yeah, you can. but the fees are not just what they are here. So what I like to do is, well, what is quite cool here is that you can basically just take this figure here, let's say, so it's selling at the same price in those two countries, put that in here, whack on the EFN, which is European Fulfillment Network. So if you're not aware, you have a choice of going pan-European or EFN. And EFN is basically ways, it's where you're doing, what is it? It's basically you're storing the stock in your own country, which is the UK, and then you are doing cross distance selling, is that what it's called? Into other European countries. Basically, they're buying it off of you in on their platform, .de, Germany, France, that sort of thing, but it's being shipped from the UK. That is what the EFN network is. But if you change that and go from you do pan-European, it gets shipped to that country, and then it gets shipped from a fulfillment center in France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and then go to the customer. The problem with that is that because you're storing stock in that country, you have to register for VAT immediately in those countries, even if you have just started out yesterday. So you have to be very careful with that. So that's why you won't see a pan-European estimate here, because most people will not be doing pan-European. And I guess in a way, as an additional update, that might not be bad, just to cover the full scope of potential options, I guess. Because there are some people that will be doing it and will not be able to use this. It will be basically cheaper, so you'll get more profit by doing that. That's how it works. You'll get more profit because obviously by shipping it here, it's a lot more distance to cover than if it's already in that country. So your fees go higher. So I've turned this on. I put in the price here. If we click this, yeah, okay. So now you can see it. So the ROI is dropped. So actually, it's not as bad as I thought. So if you take this off and we calculate, yeah, it was 14. So I need to make sure I do this right. Okay, 276. So, and I reckon a massive reason why this is actually not coming out huge is because of the whole pound situation. So the GBP sterling is pretty weak at the moment against euro. It's not too far off 1-to-1. If we go GBP to euro, let's go. Actually, why is it giving me the euro pound? Actually, it's relatively better than it was a while ago. But if you go to a year, oh, is that right? That's somehow got far better. Okay, maybe not. But you can see down here. Yeah, so down here it was very, very weak. And you're actually very, very surprised. So this does have a massive impact on the EFN network, because the closer to 1-to-1 it is, that means this here, the euros, is going to be closer to being £20.79. Obviously, the stronger the pound is, the less pound you need to buy that, to get that. So it ends up being worse. So you can look into it separately, but that's actually really interesting. Okay, maybe it's just really good. So you can see here, oh, the heavens are just opened where I am. That's lovely. You can then type in the price that it is there, and if you really want, you can go ahead. We'll just go ahead and, oops, do that. So I can show you quickly. So this is the item in the other country, but you can see that ranking is not really as good, but it would sell. You can just check the price. So it's actually at 20. Yeah, so 20 euros. It's 20 euros 79, 20 euros 79. Perfect. Go ahead and put it on, and then you can basically really quickly see if you can sell. So actually, it's not far off. Probably because you're buying it for such a low price, and you wouldn't actually be buying it for £6 probably. Oh, that is it hail? It was so nice last week. Anyway, so you can see here that actually now you can use this as a really good quick addition to see, can I make profit in Europe? And the answer, surprisingly, because I didn't expect it to come up as good, is yes. So what you can do is you can now go, okay, now I can use all this data, you know, the sales data, the number of sales here, the keeper chart that I can see, all of your bits, and go, actually, now I can buy maybe a couple for Germany and France, because I didn't expect it to be as good as that. And of course, you can set various formula, but like rules for how you price Europe, so it's up to you. You know, there's no right way. I'm not going to go over all that, but it's just a nice addition to show you, can I actually buy more stock of this? Because I'm not just looking to cater for the UK, I'm also now looking to cater for some of Europe. And now maybe not as much, because as I showed you, the keeper chart is not as strong as it is in the UK. And again, in France, it's probably very similar. It's a bit better. It is a bit better. But it's definitely stronger in the UK. So maybe you're buying 5 here, well, maybe it's worth buying maybe 10. So you can do, you know, 2 or 3 in Germany, 2 or 3 in France, and 5 in the UK. Now, what you've gained by reading this over just using Keeper. So back in the day, if you were just looking at Keeper, you probably would not have gone to the other European marketplaces and checked every single website for every item across all of these markets. But now this is a really fast and efficient way to see, can you get, how do you eke out more sales? And the way you do that is just by quickly referencing these. So now, and an interesting thing, you could do is you could go and jump across to these websites and then change this to basically run this program on that, yeah? But obviously, this is what it's for. This is why it's built in, so that we can see because it's additional fees, basically. So it'll just take into consideration additional fees if you are going to sell it across European Fulfillment Network. Now, we're just going to jump back to the website quickly, so I can just go over, just to double check that I've covered all the different points. Because, I've sort of gone over it relatively fast, because there are a lot of books, but a lot of you would have been familiar with software like this, or you might be using it, or you might have seen it, or you might have trialed it. So you understand the fundamentals behind it. I just wanted to go over how you can utilize certain aspects of it. So, as you can see here, last year in 2018, there was a damn lot of updates. I think I did the original video back in March. Now look at all of these additions. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see there is just every month, well, maybe not every single month, but nearly every single month, there is just additional features. There's always, and there's still going to be additional features. That's the great thing about these pieces of software. They're always going to be getting updated, because things are always changing and people's ways of doing things change. So you've got to stay on it. And you can see here, only last month there was the most recent update. And it's just really, it's almost a day-to-day piece. It's almost like second nature. People if you don't see a Chrome extension now, people are like, what? It's just embedded in people these days. That is the thing that people have. Now, if you want to know how much it costs, of course, we jump across the pricing so you can actually see. So I was just double checking I actually covered everything. And then there's a Facebook group. It is literally FBA Multi Tool. As it says here, it is a Facebook group. So yeah, as I said, you can sign up for the free trial. Just here, you can see exactly what it says. So yeah, this is what you can basically sign up for. It's got, most people probably get 2 devices, I'd say. If you've got say multiple virtual assistants, however there are people that have implemented their business with many virtual assistants, and you may need 4. Obviously, for an extra $5 for 2 the devices, it's not necessarily a problem. Maybe you've got a couple of laptops and virtual assistants, yeah. So it's one of those things where you want to basically have one-on-one main computer, maybe a travel laptop, and then you've got some virtual assistants or some admin people or whatever you've got. And then what you can see below is there's going to be, obviously not yet out, is a mobile app for retail arbitrage. And this is an interesting space, because there isn't currently an app out, fully functional app out, apart from the Seller Central app, that you can use to, so the way that I haven't done retail arbitrage for ages. I do want to maybe just do it in the summer. It's nice to get out. It's nice just to do it now and then for a day, just because it gets you out of the house, and it's interesting to see what sort of stuff's out there these days. It's always, you don't want to be naive to the how things are moving in the space. Yeah, it's always interesting just to keep up to date in areas that are similar or relating to what you're currently in. But you can see here, I actually have no idea how this is even going to be. But the fact that there's this, there is something in the works is really nice, because currently everyone's pretty much using their Amazon Seller Central app to scan the products. Maybe they're using Facebook Messenger for Keeper, because you can use that and get the free sort of that free. It looks very similar to that. You can get that up on if you use Facebook Messenger, just type in Keeper on your phone in Messenger, and it will come up. You type in the ASIN, and it will give you this, which is really, really cool. But that'll be an interesting thing that I, will look to probably do a review on. It might be a bit difficult. I'll have to figure out a way to integrate a record on my phone or something, or maybe I'll find a way to record the phone and then download it or something. But yeah, like that would be a really, really cool. And there's not implementation, and you can see it's probably going to be very, very similar to all of this, just integrated into a mobile app. Until that point comes, it's very hard to say. Let's just double check we have covered everything. I believe so. I just don't want to overlook anything. Yep, you can go ahead onto the website and check it out for yourself if you want. It's FBA multitool.com, all one word. Read up on it, or you can join their Facebook group, which is obviously the FBA Multi Tool Facebook group. Find out information, check it out, check this video. You can check my original video out if you really want. It's about 8 months old, but you might find some useful information on that. Or compare, maybe you just want to see how far it's come and maybe how far it will go in the future. But yeah, the software is really, really good. You've seen it. I've never had any issues with it, and any issues I have had, I just ask about, or I've just figured out myself. There's for me, a limited amount of. There's nothing too complex on here to make you really get confused. The only couple of the bits that I was unsure about was the VAT section here, but obviously I've already checked that out on purpose because I wanted to actually know what I was talking about for the video. So yeah, that's the only bit I wasn't sure about. And what it does here actually is it takes in, just because I think I forgot that part, is you've put in the 20%, but it will basically take off the VAT from this section, because you're paying 20% VAT, yeah? But you need to make sure that you're also claiming your VAT back on the purchase cost. So obviously when you're buying stock, there's a little bit of VAT that's in that £6, for example. Rather than, you don't just pay a flat 20%. So it will basically net the difference. It will take the VAT from the £6 as whatever the number is, and it will take 20% of the selling price, and then it will just populate the difference that you will have to pay. So don't think it's just going to charge you 20%, and it's not actually taking into consideration the amount that is attributed to the £6. That's the only thing I just realised I hadn't covered. So just in case you were wondering, or maybe you hadn't even thought that far ahead, but now at least I've covered it for whatever reason. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I feel like I have covered everything. If there is something you just want me to maybe go over a bit more, you feel like I've confused you on something, because I know I talk relatively fast. It's just how I do it, I guess. You can always watch it back, but I know it's an hour long, Lily, so I'm sorry. But yeah, if there is something specific you want me to clarify for you, just smash the comments below. But what we're going to do with the 2 free month passes is literally just comment anything below. If you stay this long, great. If not, then we'll just put something in the description. But just comment anything below. I'll leave it about a week, and then I'm going to pick someone at random, and I'll comment back onto you the post about it, and we'll get you the month trial over to you, basically. So yeah, and then whoever's wins, I'll announce it onto the Facebook group as well, just so that everyone's actually aware. I probably will add, because some people might not look at YouTube as often or something. So I try to make sure I'm covering it from my point as close as I can. Any questions? You can always ask Zach in his Facebook group if you want some technical analysis on something. You get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Smash the thumbs up, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.